Hello. Stropping. Blade pedantry. A knife. A strop. Rawhide. Seams. Seams are down. Okay. So, what is stropping? Now, I claim that what stropping is not abrasion. This is why we have the word stropping, to distinguish it and to give a place to the act of aligning the microserrations at the apex and or burr detachment via mechanical fatigue, that is the paperclip effect, that is bending metal back and forth until it snaps, not abrading, okay? And that is what I'm doing here now on my calluses, okay? There's no abrasive compound on my hand. Now, you can argue that I am still abrading, because then you could also argue that when I run my knife under the tap, I'm abrading, right? But what is the actual objective here? Am I trying to remove steel? No, I'm not trying to remove any steel. I'm just aligning. And I understand that most people, myself included, are wrong about most things most of the time. And therefore it stands to reason that out and about, people speak about stropping and they're not referring to what I'm referring to. Does this mean that I'm wrong? I don't think so. Sorry, but in this instance, the majority are then wrong and I am right. Why? Because I've just explained. If the act of honing, edge trailing on an abrasive substance, be that more or less flexible, is now referred to as stropping, then what word do we have for the act of honing, edge trailing without abrasion? Now we need a new word, but we already had one. And we also had another word. We also had a word for the other thing, right? We have words for that. It's honing, edge trailing. That's what people are doing most of the time now when they say stropping, okay? Now, where do I get my information from? Because many years ago, maybe 2 decades ago, when I first got onto the internet and I was getting into straight razor sharpening, that's where I got my information. So my information comes from the barbers of old, okay, who strop their straight razor on leather. And they don't use compound. If you use compound and you're doing that on a straight razor, you imagine you're doing something completely different to that paper thin steel at the edge there. Now you're abrading. So let's be clear. That's my stomach. I haven't had breakfast yet. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. When I started in with this notion of making this video, see, I took the choil out now, so we're pretty good down there in the choil. We're not gonna. These are bamboo rolls. Well, I don't know if it's actually bamboo paper, but it's a very different quality from your typical kitchen roll. My wife tells me that this is a bamboo kitchen roll. I could do some comparative studies at some point. I have some other ones. But anyway, you know, here's a rod, right? This is abrasive. This is maybe, I think it's 800. Yeah, it is an 800 grit. It says it right there. Okay. Am I stropping right now? Would you call this stropping? I wouldn't call that stropping. Now, this is a pine wood block impregnated with a 1000 grit diamond compound. So now am I stropping? If now I'm stropping, but now I'm not, where's the difference? Is it because I stepped up from 800 to 1000? Well, what if this was a 2000 grit rod and this was an 800 grit diamond paste? So then would I be stropping on this but not stropping on that? Ah!